Having successfully found the winner of the Supreme, we'll be spinning up our winnings on the Arkle, and we'll get straight into it, the show of betting. 2-1 favourite, Edwardstone. No Fernie Hollow here, who was a long-time ante-post favourite. Blue Lord, 130. Riviere is 4-1. Hort on Tarr is 7-1. St Sam, 8. Magic Days, 14. And bigger. Do you go quicker at any point of the year than you do to the first in the Arkle?
Yeah, in the 2 mile handicap at the festival. What's it called? The Grand Annual. So, well, you definitely don't want to get any quicker on the novice. No, this is speed, and they would want to know where they're putting their feet. If there's any, flaws in a horse, you'll find them in this.
I mean, I'll come to you with Edwardstone, because at the beginning of the season, you wouldn't have thought you'd be talking about 2-1 favourite for the Arkle Edwardstone. Bit of a different campaign than usual. Decent hurdler, came 5th in the Supreme, went and ran in a Betfair hurdle. Went chasing, went back hurdling, now he's gone novice chasing, got brought down, then ran up a sequence. He's won a couple of good trials. There's no reason for him not to be the 2-1 favourite here, and he's the right 2-1 favourite, but something inside me just says, I want to take him on. I didn't expect him to be here, so my inner feelings is I want to take him on. Unfair, would you say, or would you be keen on the twos?
I think unfair. I think the biggest problem is that you touched on it, that Ireland lost their star. So Fernie Hollow was the 18.
Yeah.
And we've now got the kind of, not unfairly, but Willie Mullins' B team, whatever that looks like, with the Blue Lord, maybe St Sam, maybe others, Hoot on Calore. They were definitely Act 2 rather than kind of Act 1. And, suddenly the English novice chasers kind of hold the aces with Edwardstone, who's been foot perfect. You touched on the preparation. The kind of Alan King's come out and said that hurdling made him a man, handicap hurdling. So he didn't achieve a huge amount over hurdles, but he ran in all those big shows. So it toughened him up. Yeah, made him what he is, and he's done nothing wrong. And the Irish bring a level of form. And David might correct me, but they don't bring wow factor. They bring really good, exciting.
Thank God, they do it pretty much every other race, So.
Yeah, well, the kind of Riviere Detail, who we'll hear more about from Davy in a minute, and Blue Lord served up a thriller in the Irish Dublin Racing Festival, but it didn't leave you, if you're an Edwardstone fan, thinking, oh, there's your winner of the Arkle. It made you think that they set the bar high, and she does. She's into the mix, definitely. But, without going through these videos, tipping up favourite, Edwardstone has to do something wrong, in my opinion, not to win this race. I think he's the one to beat.
Well, I wasn't expecting that. Davy, Riviere Detail, like we said, is probably the best of Gordon's here, without a doubt. What can you tell us about him?
Her? Yeah, she's.
Oh, there we go. Look at the smile.
That's so good.
Look at the smile.
And that's not going to be edited out.
It won't be edited out, but I will spend the rest of my life getting him back. And I noticed how you've helped him there. So
I'm an innocent party here now. I just.
If I'm going to get him to move on, I
tried to move it on very quite quickly, but
she.
Yeah. So she's very good. She's really, really likable. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She's out there and she jumps and gallops, and that's her. And if that's what's going to win an Arkle this year, she's the winner, because I do feel she's the best of the Irish coming over. Look, Bill quite rightly said Fernie Hollow was, I think we'd be finished this conversation if he was in it. I think he'd be clear favourite and he would win it. And for Ireland to win an Arkle, they need a standout horse, and Fernie Hollow was that. The rest of them are very much on a level. Then, it kind of falls to an English horse to win it, and I'm not saying Edwardstone is going to win it. I don't know, because it's that type of an Arkle. I would be very convinced that Fernie Hollow would win it if he was in it. But the way it is now, I would be looking for a little bit more value.
Yeah, I was going to say, of course, Sublime Run here, a horse you've always held in high regard.
Yeah, of course.
Second and Triumph. Remember chatting before the race that day, you were very keen.
He's a very good horse, and he ran really well in a Triumph. But again, I would have preferred if he went chasing last year and got the allowances.
He might be a handicap horse, or he might be a Grand Annual horse too.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because he's just below. He's not the wow horse that you need to win an Arkle. But getting back to Riviere Detail and Blue Lord, I suppose, but I think Riviere Detail is the best at the Irish. She's tough, rock solid.
Had loads of goes as well.
Yeah, loads of experience. Now, the only thing you have to factor in is her early part of the season, she's now getting closer and closer with the weight allowance because she's
the mare's
allowance.
And it's now, I can't remember what it is, but it's a lot less than it was.
Yeah, she's back to 7 pounds now. I think it was 11 at Christmas. So, that levels everything out now. She probably, well, I feel she would be Blue Lord, we'll call it 2-3 lengths. But now there's only a kick of a ball between the two of them. But she's very good to jump, and she gallops and goes, and she can settle like she did the last. She can settle, so she's not one-dimensional. For me, look, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if she won an Arkle. It wouldn't.
Well, you found out she was quite good that day we stood in the box in November, didn't you? And you told me to back Cape Gentleman that got beat 21 lengths by River de Tel. So there we go. I managed to get one back towards you quite quickly. But Flynn. Edwardstone, have we seen much of it all the way down?
Not really. Fernie Hollow was a big loser, but obviously now ruled out, as previously mentioned. Blue Lord has been the most popular towards the head of the market, laid as big as 9-1 at the start of January. So of the ones that we've just spoken about, Blue Lord would be the one that they would be after, and he would be a loser ante-post. In terms of my thoughts on the race, I just thought that the last day that Blue Lord's finishing abilities have to worry you, I think, with that Cheltenham Hill. Especially after the last day. After he jumped the last and River de Tel made that mistake, you're expecting him to go 2-3 lengths clear. And he just doesn't, and he almost gets caught.
Well, she battled back. She's tough down.
Yeah, but if you're a Blue Lord backer, you really want him to go away there, don't you? And hence Bill's comment earlier about if you're on Edwardstone, I don't think you're worried. And I think a lot of people crab Edwardstone because of the handicap hurdling season last year, and he can't be in Arkle.
The unusual sort of preparation.
Exactly. But in terms of what he proved last year, he ran to the RPRs in the 150s, which was the same as what Sprinter did in his novice hurdling season. So, and he came third in the Supreme. So.
The filly of Henry de Bromhead.
Magic Days.
No, that won the Arkle. Put the kettle on.
Yeah.
Did she not win her first beginners rate at 116 over hurdles?
So they can improve chunks, can't they? And he just looks a proper quick chaser, doesn't he? Just gets from A to B really quickly. And I just think that if you are taking one at the front of the market around 2-1, I think it's a fair price because you know that he's going to go all out for you, jump fence to fence, and he's going to be there. And the case is just whether he's good enough or not.
What price do you think he'll go off?
I think he'll probably go off similar to what he is now. I think he'll go favourite.
He's quite short now, so
he is quite short.
I mean, he's probably 7 or 4.
He's not a 74 shot. Like I'm only looking in from the outside, but regardless of prices, but he's not that far ahead of the rest, is he?
Might only be 7-8 runners though. That's
the next point. What price do you go off, and do you get 3 places? Are you going to get 8 runners?
It depends on whether Willie runs Blue Lord and the rest of the gang, or whether he just relies on 1 or 2. I mentioned the Magic Days. I just shouted that one out because
but that could turn the race on its head because she's a real front runner. There'd be a lot of pace in the race.
I just thought if there's one now that could shorten a lot if she turned up. Magic Days, I think she's 16 or something. I think she could turn up here.
For the record then, selection time.
Edwardstone.
Been kind of forced towards Edwardstone.
And my opinion is I would like to take Edwardstone on with anything else.
I'm going to change.
You think you're going to join the camp?
I'm going to change. I'm going to go with the filly. I just love her. I love her attitude. I'm going to go with Riviere.
I love her even more now. Now I know she's a she, not a he. I'll love that. Whichever one comes over the top and beats Edwardstone, hopefully it happens, will be for me. I just look at it on paper and I think if there's some superstars in the race, I don't think he's quite in that category. It just looks a bit skinny for me. But that's the Arkle.